Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tartar Zone. You're with me, and you're with Marty here. We've got an update on Marty's Doctor Who rumours, but also, obviously, when new rumours come out, you all know that I go to my sources. But I've also received news from my sources also. So what we'll do is, right, we're just gonna see what Marty has for us, read it out, and then what we'll do is then we'll get into my source information. And yeah, well, all I'm just going to tell you is my source information is not good news. Okay, so everybody might have gone on a bit of a high yesterday. My sources, yeah, they're not as positive. I have to be honest, but you know, on this channel we'll cover all the rumours, you know, and Gallifrey base has been in the past to be reliable, but you know, I have to look at this. You know, I have to be keep emotion out of it when I'm reading rumours, because let's be honest, we'd all love the other news yesterday to be true. So I have to leave emotion out of it and just do what I have to do. But Marty, you did say that you did have an update on obviously what we spoke about yesterday. So, my friend, the floor is yours.
Yeah. So basically, since yesterday, this post uncovered that was put up in late 2019, and this poster claimed that the BBC were in early negotiations with a big broadcaster to produce a reboot / refresh of Doctor Who. And apparently, according to this poster, there were two options that they had laid out on the table. So what they had planned originally to do with this deal, if this is right, there was no names mentioned at this time, so Warner, nothing like that was mentioned. The idea was to have everything from 1963 to 2023 belong to the BBC. And from 2023 onwards, it would be a co-production with BBC Studios, HBO, well, not HBO, but the major broadcaster, so in this case, HBO. But the reason they do that is because they still wanted current era as we know it to be able to continue on. So the idea behind that is that the BBC would own everything from 63 to 2023. But the reason behind that is that not to stop it, but they have planned to continue it in some form. What that form is, we don't know. There's been no mention of what it is. Personally, if it was me, this is just speculation. It might have allowed the BBC to go and make, for example, a Time War series. So we don't know how true that is, but that's the post that's been uncovered. That's the update. This guy posted this in 2019 and said that mentioned no broadcasters names, but said the BBC were in early talks at that time with a big broadcaster, but we don't know if that's true. Speculation, rumor, you know the crack. But I believe that Noel's heard something that's a wee bit different now to what I've heard.
Yeah. So of course, after Marty had sent me when he sent it to me the night, I had actually left a couple of emails with my sources, and of course they got back to me. So I might as well now, before I start, obviously everything that we speak about on this channel is rumor and speculation, and we're not saying that it's fact, just like we didn't say it was fact with the other news yesterday. So I'll just tell you what I have received. Now I'm going to tell you is I'm going to be happy. So I'll just go straight into it. So Gemma Whelan, the actress that we were told maybe had auditioned for Doctor Who Apparently, that is not true. Piers Wenger, apparently, they want a male doctor, and if they can't get a male doctor, they want an actress that has a CV, basically someone that has power, star power. The HBO reboot, they're saying
Yeah.
it's not true. They're looking at different formats for who, but it's likely to go on to iPlayer as a one drop thing, like they do on HBO Max and Netflix. The BBC will not sell it off and will retain the major share in it, but they may redo the format to the series specials like Sherlock event TV. So like they might do like episodes like the format of Sherlock. Also, uh,
Yeah.
it may be streamed on HBO as well, but it won't be in an exclusive on HBO Max. Uh, Chibnall apparently is not allowed to push canon any further and may have to retcon stuff in Series 13 as he has to leave the series in good standing for season 14 with no loose ends. So he's been told under no say that he basically has to fix the mess that he has made, and there cannot be any loose ends when the new series comes around series 14. That's obviously after series 13. So he basically has to get it right at this time and leave no loose ends. Now, apparently, here's some news now on companions, right? Manip Gill apparently leaves halfway through the series. John Bishop is not a full-time companion, according to me sources, and Sasha Dewan is returning. Apparently, they've also asked Michelle Gomez, who was unavailable due to travel restrictions, Lance Henriksen. Lance Henriksen is it's the actor. You know who I'm talking about. Has been dropped for insurance purposes. Joe Martin is unlikely to appear, and the timeless child may not be addressed. Expect season 14 to be the anniversary season. So that's what I've been given. Manip Gill will leave halfway through. John Bishop is not a full-time companion. Sasha Dewan is returning, but they also asked Michelle Gomez, but because of travel restrictions, she can't. And then Lance why can't I say his second name? Henriksen has been dropped for Jordan's purposes. Joe Martin is unlikely to appear, as we spoke about in the last Rumours anyway, because she thought she was going to be the 14th Doctor, and she realizes that she's not now, and apparently that hasn't sit well with her. Again, all of this is rumour and speculation. I am not saying that this is all fact, but so he's been basically told that there cannot be any loose ends. The HBO reboot is not happening. Wenger wants a man of a certain standard, is what we've been told, or a stellar female actor. Now they are looking into different formats, but the more likely scenario, according to my sources, is it will drop all in one go on BBC iPlayer, and it might be like in the format of Sherlock Holmes type series, so the 1.5 hour format. So it'd be like, think about it, it'd be like little mini movies. So that's what we've been told. Now, again, it's actually, after yesterday, I thought, I hope this is true, right? But then I looked at this news, and while it's not what we want, right? But the fact that I've been told that Chris Chibnall has to fix stuff and can't leave any loose ends, and needs to leave the show in a good state, suggests to me that BBC may be coming down hard on Chibnall. But will it be enough? That's the thing. Even when we spoke about the reboot yesterday, there was a lot of people that were in the chat that weren't so sure about a reboot. right? But how would you feel with this scenario, though? You know, is this any better? Is this any worse? Let's ask Marty first, anyway. So, Marty, I mean, there it is in a nutshell. Obviously, you know, it does go against everything that you obviously put out yesterday. Well, we didn't stress that you found all of this stuff on Gallifrey Bay, so it's not as if you're making it up.
Yeah.
It's all there for everybody to see. But I mean, what do you think of the news I've dropped? Can you hear me?
Well, it's a bit of a shame. Like, you know, I thought the HBO thing might have worked out. At the end of the day, the guy reported it, said he would hold his hands up if it was crap. So if it is crap, it's crap. Nothing we say here is fact unless it comes from the horse's mouth. Like
That's true. That's true.
Unless it comes from the horse's mouth, you know, there's people out there who seem to think that we're going around preaching that yes, this is going to happen. Yes, it's not. You know, we're only going by what we're being told here. We're not believing it, but we're not dismissing it at the same time.
Exactly. And I have to say as well, just because I've put my stuff out doesn't mean that it's fact, because we don't know. We can't, obviously, like Marty, he can't verify what he got on Gallifrey Base except show what he's saying. And I'm the same. I cannot verify this. You just, as I said, though, you know, as we always say on this channel, it's all rumor and speculation till either verified by the BBC or denied. Well, they won't deny it, but if it's verified, then you'll know it's right. If it's not verified or they don't speak about it, then it's obviously not true. And we've always said that, always being open. But again, you know, I do get accused. I have been accused of not covering other source information and that I only cover what I want to cover. No, that's not true. If I'm ever given information that I think is legit, then I'll put it out there for everybody. And if it was to go against my sources, I'd put it out there, you know, and then I'd go to my sources then and say, what's the story, blah, 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 blah. And then, you know, yourself, that's how it works. But is this better? Marty, though, I want to ask you, is this better or is this worse in your opinion?
Probably worse, but it's sort of going to that news. You would almost think that if they're trying to get Jimbo to wrap everything up, then he must be out the door too after Series 13.
Do you know what? I've honestly got a funny feeling that he's going after Series 13 if he's being told that he's to not leave any loose ends. So, do you know what? Maybe the Whittaker news was leaked to distract us from the fact that he's leaving, so all the attention will be on Jodie Whittaker and not on him, and he can concentrate writing the series and concentrate on all the other stuff. Look, again, you know, as I said, it's when I read this, my heart kind of sunk a little bit because, you know, don't get me wrong, I do like the idea personally of the 1.5 hour format, like a Sherlock type format. I don't mind that. Think about it. 5 or 6 stories. I mean, that's longer than an actual Doctor Who season. So I mean, that could work. I'm not so sure about them dropping the whole thing on iPlayer though. I think they'll shoot themselves in the foot, to be quite honest. I mean, the ratings are already bad.
They could, but then you see.
Go ahead, Marty. What?
It's starting to become a trend now. A lot of shows seem to be doing that. It just becomes sort of a trend now.
You think it's a way of hiding how badly the show is doing because they can hide behind the streaming service. Like, you know, a lot of shows have been accused of doing that. Yeah. You know, I mean, if you were to believe half of the YouTubers out there, most of the shows that are on these streaming services are all struggling, but they're getting a second, third, and fourth season. I just think it's a bad idea to go with iPlayer personally. Yeah. But that's just my personal opinion. But the next bit of news I did like. Chibnall is not allowed to push canon any further and may have to retcon stuff in Series 13 as he has to leave the series in good standing for Series 14 with no loose ends. Now, Manny Gill will leave halfway through. Sacha Dhawan apparently will return. John Bishop is not a full-time companion. They did ask Michelle Gomez to return, but apparently because of travel restrictions, she can't. And Lance Henriksen has been dropped for insurance purposes. Joe Martin is unlikely to appear, and the Timeless Child may not be addressed. Expect season 14 to be the anniversary season. So let's break it down. This second part, Marty. So Chibnall is not allowed to push canon any further, and he may have to retcon stuff and leave the series in good standing. And he mustn't leave any loose ends, right? So, okay.
Thank God for that.
Right. That's some positive news, right? It shows that maybe BBC know what has happened here. But I want to ask you out straight. Can actually Chris Chibnall tie up the loose ends and actually retcon stuff and do it properly to leave no loose ends? Or do you think he will do what everybody reckons he was going to do in the first place? He's always had the master there, and maybe he messed with the what you call it? He messed with the Matrix, right?
Yes.
So, do you think he'll use that, and that's the way he'll explain it to get out of it now?
I think it'll be. I reckon it's going to be something to do with. It wasn't the Master who altered it; it was some Time Lord. It'll be Rapsnod or Omega who altered the Matrix. It's actually the Master who was the Timeless Child, not the Doctor. That's the way I think it's going to end up. It's going to end up being the Master, not the Doctor.
Jack Fitzpatrick asks us a question there. I'll just throw it up, Jack. If he can't leave loose ends, why not address the Timeless Child? Well, he doesn't necessarily have to, though, because with the Master messing with the Matrix, everything that has happened would become null and void, because they could say, he manipulated the Matrix. Obviously, Marty thinks might be the Master, could be another Time Lord, which is a possibility, but that's the way out of it, Jack. He always left the door open anyway. We knew that. But the thing about it is, if he was given his way, right, even with that door open, I think he would have continued down this path and done something we'd all be sitting here, and I think we'd be all seeking professional help because it'd be that bad. I mean, we've watched their show be destroyed in front of our eyes, and if BBC have put a halt to that, listen, I look. While I would like the news on Gallifrey base to be true, right? An extended universe, a joint production, who wouldn't want that? Right, but what BBC, what's being said here, right, is an okay alternative, right? If, like we have said, that he's to leave no loose ends and leave the show in good standing, right? I think there might be some serious pressure at the BBC right now. He has to look. This man has to know that we're not happy, right? And I don't care about the few that he panders to on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
He has to know, right? And you know what? It probably is hard for him. And we've said this on past occasions, right? He probably does believe that he's writing something absolutely spectacular, right? But unfortunately, he's not. He's not. And that's the sad thing, because, I don't think he ever was the right man. But I did watch the videos of people who were defending Chris Chibnall at the time when he was cast. And when I was listening to their videos, I was like, okay, if he does all of this, fine, I'll be happy. But he has to learn how to sci-fi is that I always said that his biggest downfall would be how capable is he of writing sci-fi, right? Because if you look at his Doctor Who episodes, they're not really sci-fi, are they? No, they're
Yeah,
not really. So I was that was my one worry. But he proved me right. He proved me right within the first season. He's just unfortunately not capable. Now, for people that have just joined us, right? For people that have just joined us, so Marty had a little bit of an update. So there was a post put up in 2019. Do you just want to fill them in? Because I'm going to cover both, obviously, because this is an update from Martin's
yeah.
news yesterday, and then I'll fill you in with what I got for new people that are here. So go ahead, Marty. So
Basically, this poster said that the BBC were in negotiations with a big broadcaster to either refresh/reroute the series of Doctor Who. The idea been on the table was that everything from 1963 to 2023 would belong to the BBC, and everything after 2023 would be 50-50 between BBC and whoever the new broadcaster is. So the idea behind that, the reason the BBC wanted to hold on from everything from 63 to 23 is because there's apparently plans in place to continue on with that version of the show after the new version has been on the new broadcaster. So, for example, if they want to make a new series, say it is HBO Max, it means that the old series of the BBC could put money towards a Time War series with Bobby, for example.
yeah.
So that's the latest poster, but that was from 2 years ago, and it's just resurfaced now in the thread we were talking about yesterday.
So it's recently popped up in this thread that Marty, and I still haven't thrown up the thread. I will from Gallifrey base because, as I said, we cover both. So I'll throw them up. But then, obviously, you know me, when someone comes forward with information, I always go to me sources to see if there's anything in this to either back it up or have they got any news for themselves. So this is what we received, and it kind of annoys me because I was kind of hoping that there was something in this to kind of back up what Marty had found, because then I could really get excited. But unfortunately, this is what we were told. So Gemma Whelan apparently has not auditioned for the role of the 14th Doctor. Piers Wenger apparently wants a man of a certain standard or a stellar female actor. So they want an actress with good acting chops. And do you know what? I'm going to be out straight. Star power. It sounds like that to me, right? It sounds like that. If they're going to go with a woman, she has to be someone that is widely known, has a good acting chops behind her. For me, right? Even though I don't agree with a female doctor, you know that. But if I was to pick an actress myself, well, then there's that actress for me is Jodie Comer, or Comer, whatever her second name is, the one that's in Killing Eve, right? She is a terrific actress, right? She can play psycho. She can do funny. You know, she's got that range, right? So, you know, that's what I would do if they had to go down this route again. Obviously, you know me, I would prefer a man. Let's stop all the nonsense and get back to what worked, is my opinion. But the HBO reboot apparently is not true. They are looking at different formats for Who, but it's likely to drop on iPlayer in one go, which I think is an absolutely stupid idea, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
I just don't see the sense in that, to be quite honest. I mean, they're going to shoot themselves in the bloody foot. I mean, not every. What about the people in Ireland, right? I don't know if anybody has actually realised this, but we can't get iPlayer in Ireland unless we got a VPN. Yeah, but I shouldn't have to get a VPN. Listen, if they're going to drop it on iPlayer, then I suggest the BBC. And if there's anybody listening, make sure that it's available. If you're going to do that, make sure iPlayer is available in every bloody country, or you're going to screw yourselves. But here's the thing: one of the formats spoke about is actually doing a Sherlock style series, a much shorter season with 2-hour episodes, or an hour and a half. It depends. Chibnall is not allowed to push canon any further. May have to retcon stuff in Series 13 as he has to leave the series in good standing for Series 14 with no loose ends. Now, on the companions, Manique Gill leaves halfway through. John Bishop apparently is not a full-time companion. Sasha Dewan is returning. They also asked Michelle Gomez, but because of travel restrictions, that is not going to happen. And Lance Henriksen, I nearly got it wrong there again, has been dropped for insurance purposes. Joe Martin is unlikely to appear, and the timeless child may not be addressed. Expect Series 14 to be the anniversary season. Right. What we'll do is what we did yesterday, but I'm not staying on for as long, okay? Because I'm actually in a bit of a state today. I'm not well, but this was important to do. So I said I'll come on. Hold on, I've got 2 private messages. Right, so apparently Marty has more news about. It's about. Got news about filming that took place on February 4th. Speculation about the Matrix scene. Go ahead, tell us what you've heard.
So I've just been scrolling it as we speak right now, and I have found a post from this guy. Now, this guy to Gallery Base, he has a direct link to the set, so everything he has said is 100%. There's none of this here is crap. This is what we can tell you for a fact. I can say it's a fact anyway. This guy's 100% all the time. So what he said, this post went up on the 9th of February. I'm actually surprised I haven't seen this. On February the 4th, or close to that date, Jodie Whittaker was filmed in studio with her most common costume variant. In front of a green screen suspended from a harness, hanging there limply, acting asleep or unconscious. There was no fan to blow her hair out like they filmed her as they were being teleported into space. Some speculation is that this scene has been filmed for The Matrix.
Right. Interesting.
So whether that's true or not,
well,
the guy is normally 100% whether to do with The Matrix or not.
Send the updates to me as well. Just send it all to me, and I'll throw it up definitely today because it certainly is interesting.
Yeah.
And I will do a short video on the news that I've gotten as well, and I'll throw that up at some stage today if I can. Yeah. If I have the energy, folks.
So it's speculation at the minute. She was filmed in front of a green screen, hanging with a harness, unconscious. Unconscious. There is speculation. Some people are saying that it's a Matrix scene. There's other people that are saying, do you remember the Arc of Infinity when the Fifth Doctor was like in the same what do you call it? Matrix, or what was it with Omega? They would sort of float. I think it's the Arc of Infinity.
The what you call it?
I think it's
Arc
of Infinity. I think it's Arc of Infinity. Well, there's some people speculating that it could be the same sort of idea here, that she is in the Matrix, or you never know. I'm not saying it is Omega, but
says problem being.
It could be. Yeah, it could be a zero. I'm not too sure. It's front of a green screen anyway, so she's unconscious. So it seems to be she's in a dream state, something similar to the way she was at the time as children. So it seems to be Matrix related anyway.
It's actually fascinating, I have to say. Right, what we'll do is for the next half hour, if people want to come on and have their say about what you've heard today, you're more than welcome to do so. But we do have a super chat from Ventus Bruma. I hope I've said that right. Are they dropping Series 13 all at once? If so, it sounds to me like they want to rush Chibs out the door with as little issue or further upset as possible. I never thought of that, but that's actually a very good point.
If the whole thing is going all A player, I still suspect they'll they'll say they'll put the first episode up on iPlayer, and then they'll say the rest of the series is available on iPlayer, but they'll still put it out once a week anyway, even if it is all iPlayer.
That's
what they're planning to do.
Right, so if you want to come on, as I said, come on for a few minutes and give your opinion on what you've heard today. And if you watched the video yesterday, you heard yesterday as well. And be nice to hear from some of you. So I'm putting the link in the chat now. For now, just the people that we know. Obviously, we're only back. There has been a few attempts to sabotage the channel while we've been back. So I'm only going to bring people on that we actually know right now. Obviously, when we get back into the full swing of things and I see people continuously in the chat that have only turned up, then, you know, we'll get to know you. That's that's the way we do it here. We like to get to know people first before we bring them on. And then after that, then you're more than welcome to come on. It's just for safety right now. It's a pity that we have to do that. So yeah. Remember to hit, is that supposed to be hit the like button? I don't know. Garbage put something up there. Right, the link is in the chat. If some of you want to come on, if you don't, we're gonna. There we go, just on time. Because I was going to say, if nobody wants to come on, we've discussed all we can really, but we've got one person waiting. So if there's any more to come on, please do so. This is your chance right now. So I'll put the link there. Look at it's going in there just in case you've missed it the first time. So if you want to come in, please do leave us your thoughts. It's disgraceful people are already trying to screw with you again. Yeah, well, it happens. It happens. It doesn't matter. Like, you know, I mean, look, it is what it is, unfortunately. I can't have to get ready for my show tonight with Charlotte. No problem, Daniel. I'm pretty sure you'd have plenty to say anyway. But there we go. We got someone else. We'll just give it.
I'll not mention no names, but I sent a video this morning by somebody. You can probably guess who. Who just came on and without even any, you know, just
do me a favor, write it in the
no bother.
I know who you're talking about. Because if people have started up again, all I'm just going to say to you is get a life, okay? Listen, life is too short, yeah? And I'm not going to spend and waste my time fighting with idiots, okay? If you cannot take, if you don't know the difference between fact and rumor, well, then I can't take the stupidity. I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do about that. The educational system has failed you.
That's who it is. We'll not mention anybody directly.
Right? So, listen, there's no point in coming after me, right? Because, look, magazine tried to take me down. I haven't bragged about this, but a big magazine tried to take me down. Yeah, I'm still here. Okay? So, listen, I'm going nowhere. So, get with the program. All right? Because the sooner you realise that, the easier it will be for you. Let me see. Who is it? I've got a pretty feeling who it's going to be anyway.
Yeah, you know who it is.
Of course he did. Sure, he's nothing better to do. Yeah, I'm going to bring three of them on.
Yeah. I just got the video.
Look, listen, that chap has nothing better to do. Just forget about him. I don't really care. Let him say what he wants. He was wrong about other stuff, and if people still believe what comes out of his mouth, well, then more fool them. Simple as that. And I'm not even going to mention. It's not even worth mentioning. Have you noticed though? They kept to themselves, right? But as soon as they start putting out rumors again, starting up again. See, some people live for drama, so we won't mention it. They're not worth mentioning. Let's bring on our three guests because we got three stellar guests joining myself and Marty. Have to say, I think we've got Target's own royalty. Yes, we do. It's the one and only Queen Bee. It's Charlotte.
Hello.
Hello, Charlotte. I actually had I was
Hello.
an interesting argument with a person with the same name as you yesterday, saying some vile stuff about the Catholic Church.
Oh, nice.
Now, normally I wouldn't get involved in stuff like that because I've kind of lost my faith over the years. But I tell you, this person made my blood boil. Absolutely oh man, some people on Twitter, and you know what? Tweets reported. Guess what? The account is still up. Now, if that was Lee saying stuff like that, or me saying stuff like that, we'd be removed straight away. It's absolutely Twitter will never sort out the issues on that platform because they don't care, and it's disgusting. Right, let's bring him on because he's a human being, but he's also a bloody problem being. Okay, maybe not.
Hello, I'm here.
Right, we'll do that again. We'll do that again, Lee. Right, here we go. We get it right. So, he's a human being, but he's also a problem being.
Da, 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 da.
There you go. That's the way.
Is that better?
A bit cheesy,
All
but
right.
appropriate.
Right, let's bring on our next guest. It's the one and only PD Rich.
Hey, how you doing?
It's nice to see you all. Right. Obviously, you have heard what's been going on the last couple of days. If you've been following the streams, we already got a couple of Muppets, as I've been informed. What?
Not you, Teddy. You're not Muppet.
Sorry about that. Hang on, Ted. I know
You're
they're
a Poochie, not a Muppet.
Ted, you know they're assholes, but you don't have to get upset about it. It's okay. People like that we just ignore. Right. Anyway, yeah. So already, I don't know what's going on, but just wait until Cheryl comes back into the room because Ted just. Are you barking over me?
He's having his moment.
Not enough.
Right. So already, I'm only back a week, and already now it started all over again. But the difference is this time I'm not even going to react. So if you look in the private chat, you'll see who it is. But the person, listen, at the end they dismiss what I say. I don't care. Right? It's on Gallifrey base anyway. Okay, we haven't said anything else. We've shown that it's from Gallifrey base. Now, if you want to dismiss all that, now listen, though, if you want to dismiss all that, you're more than welcome to do so. But we know why you're doing it. We know why you're doing it because you have to be the one. You have to be the one, but you are wrong. So sit down, mate, and watch someone who actually has gotten a 97% hit success rate and leave it to the professionals. Yeah. Okay, let's get into it. You've heard what's happened yesterday. Obviously, we have covered a lot these last couple of days. Charlotte, obviously we had you on yesterday, so we'll start with you. Obviously, we've had the update from Marty, and we got another little update as well. But we've also gotten information from my sources. So I just want to ask you, firstly, about Marty's news. Just what your opinions are, I suppose, on what you've heard.
Yeah, my gut right now, and sort of my feeling in general when it comes to the future of Who, and I've said this on Facebook groups, I think honestly they've got the higher ups, people above Chibnall, whether that's Davey or even just the BBC drama bosses. They finally stepped in. They've finally seen that they've let Chibs do what he wants for 2 series, and now they're looking at what's the damage. And I think they're doing an audit of what's worked, what hasn't worked. And I think there's multiple options right now on the table. And I think they range from Gary's rumour of cancellation to maybe a reboot in a bit of a sense, but it's still in-house, or maybe at a push if they're that desperate, not selling it off, but doing a co-partnership, because they have done that for the Dark Materials. That was a co-partnership. And I just think the adults are now taking decisions. That's the best way I can phrase it. And I think Chibnall has finally overstepped it. He's finally got cocky enough that with the Timeless Child, with everything he's tried with canon, they've finally gone, no, Chibnall. We've seen that the fans don't want this. It's hurting our bottom line. It's hurting. And also, if the Series 14 is the anniversary like we all were suspecting, they know the show can't be in this state for an anniversary year.
Yeah.
They know this. They had that 50th year. They knew how big it was. So I think that they're finally taking decisions. And
Yeah.
like I said, things are in flux. There's quite a few different options being sort of, and like I said, the most important thing, I think this is all above Chibnall. I think this is the higher ups above him finally saying, right now we need to fix the show, which feeds into what your sources were saying to do with what he can and can't do going forward.
Yeah, I mean, either way, I mean, as I asked Marty, do you think this, HBO Max situation, obviously, I think a lot of us would rather be happening, the joint production thing. But on the same token, if Wenger and the rest of them at the BBC have basically laid down the gauntlet to Chris Chibnall and said, listen, no loose ends, fix it all up. You've got to
I
leave.
think he's out. I think he's out.
Yeah.
Because why else would you say leave it in good standing if you were carrying on with the same person? To me, that phrase is basically saying leave it in a good standing because somebody else has to pick up after you.
Do you know what? I've always suspected, right? And I've just speculated on this channel, as you all know. And I have said that I do think there is something bigger going on, because the Jodie Whittaker leak to me never really made sense. The fact that BBC didn't make a comment either, it's like as if they want the rumours to keep going. They want all the focus on Jodie. Is she staying? Is she going? Who's replacing her? Because that's what we're all doing. We're all talking about who could replace her. If you look on YouTube now, other YouTubers that weren't so sure that she's gone, now they're doing all their little videos. Who's going to replace Jodie Whittaker as the next Doctor? So fans are being distracted.
Yeah.
I think. And I think there is something. Now, whether that is Chris Chibnall being told, listen, this is your last season.
All the phrasing on what you said, the new info, to me is basically saying that without saying it.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's as strong as saying he's going without actually saying it, because maybe even the sources haven't been told that yet, but they're getting enough little like rumblings and stuff going above his head that they're sort of starting to click.
Yeah. Right.
Like listen, said, loose ends as well. That's an odd phrase if he's saying it.
I agree with you. Listen, before we get into John Bishop and Manip Gill and all the other stuff, I just Lee, would you like to address what Charlotte has addressed, the first piece of the news that we've been speaking about?
Right.
We've heard.
I think Charlotte is a proven track record of speaking absolute sense.
Yeah.
I concur. I think he's out. I think he's got to be out. I think he's loathed by people on the other side as well. I think he's generally, the first target from everybody. I mean, people have always said, on the Jodie Whittaker front that, if only she had someone writing better stories for her. This seems to be quite a common thing, not amongst all of them, but certainly a large enough number. And numbers speak for themselves. This is without doubt the biggest decline in Doctor Who's history.
Yeah.
I think this makes Sylvester's era look almost golden.
It does, but that's a sad thing. It actually does, Lee. And that's what is heartbreaking about this. I mean, how did they even let it go? This is what I can't understand anyway. They didn't even, we've said this all along, they never needed to get themselves in this situation.
Well, it's ideological possession. It's the navel gazing philosophy of people that work within the BBC. It's perpetuated. It's been allowed to march through the organisation unhampered. And now the reality has come home to roost. You know, it's the fact that these things do not sell. And of course, we had RTD recently saying in the press that, you know, the BBC's day is up. You know, it's facing oblivion pretty much. You know, this is from a man who obviously brought Doctor Who back to the public consciousness, saying this. So there is an admission there. Maybe it's because he's working for Channel 4 now. I don't know, but I find that very interesting. And I think that behind the scenes, who knows? You know, we know for a fact that the position of the CEO, not CEO, director or whatever of BBC Studios, that position cannot be replaced. You know, that no one is applying for the job because they can smell blood in the water and they don't want to go anywhere near it. You know, they think, well, the BBC is going to be up. The money isn't so great because you know, if other media companies offer ten times as much or whatever for the same position, and it's not a tenable situation for most people looking for their career ladder. So, well, we know that Tim Davie was once the head of BBC Studio, so maybe he has made, I don't know, I guess overt moves behind the scenes there. You know, I mean, maybe because I said he was probably brought in to be the hatchet man. We know his connection with Doctor Who. Maybe he has behind the scenes put his foot down somewhere. I don't know. You know, I mean, he's not shown himself to be a very great cleaner of house. You know, the hatchet man that I said he was going to be. But maybe time is all it takes. You know, and facing. I mean, if they've had any kind of audit over this, then it's pretty clear. That it's failing globally. You know, the US market for Doctor Who was a massive thing. You know, it was partly down to Tim Davies. You know, as part of his push. And now we're seeing numbers as low in America as, you know, I mean, not, you know, I mean, it was, what, 2 or 3 million or something in its peak, and now it's down to like, you know, a few 100,000.
Well, let's PD Rich, would you like to give your 2 cents?
I think there's been some house cleaning done. I think he's been told, Chibnall, we're not going to renew your contract. This is it after this, and I think he's going to have to walk. I think Charlotte's completely right. I think there's some house cleaning going on. But I also think it's a bit too late.
Right.
As I was saying yesterday with the Air Force One, an acronym. The Russian destroyer's been shot. Gary Oldman's dead and hanging out the back of the plane. Air Force One's so badly damaged it's going down. They're going to have to find a way of getting off.
I think they should have made a move after Series 12. You know, I mean, the backlash from that should have been enough.
Yeah,
exactly. I think that's what's caused this, though, the backlash. I think Series 11, we said this, it didn't harm anything. It was just boring and preachy. So there wasn't really a reason.
Maybe they've gone with him to continue on with the season 13 because they couldn't find anyone else who was willing to take
it. Or they just said, listen, let him fulfill his contract so he doesn't sue the ass off us.
Possibly.
You know?
Yeah.
But listen, I mean, look, let's go into the second part because I think the second part is actually very interesting, and it talks about the format. This kind of Sherlock Holmes kind of format, 1.5 hour to 2 hour stories. How would you guys feel about that? And I also want to ask you about iPlayer, the fact that it might drop on iPlayer at the same all in one go. Lee, we'll start with you this time. What do you think of that?
I think that's a mark of failure. I think if that is true, that's a desperate bid. I think it's a move for the show to die. I think that would be perceived as failure, even if that's not necessarily the intent, you know, or you know, a case of trying to do something to wrap it all up and make it look special. And you look, if it isn't on broadcast, if it isn't broadcast on BBC One, it's not a good look. So yeah, I mean, if that is the case, I for one won't be watching it because I refuse to watch iPlayer. I'm probably not going to watch it anyway because it's Chibnall Doctor Who. Why would I put myself through that? It's completely pointless because I don't get any enjoyment from it.
Yeah.
If anything, I just want to throw something at the TV screen. So it's not for me, and they've made it clear it's not for me. They've made it clear it's not for a lot of people. I think that's something that a lot of people have taken away from this. Dropping in one go. I mean,
I don't see the sense in it, though, Lee. I think it's as you said, it is kind of them kind of admitting failure, but at the same time, it's like, if it drops on iPlayer, not every country, unfortunately, has iPlayer. We can't get it here on this side of the Republic, but you can get it up in Northern Ireland. So I mean, okay, yes, someone suggested that maybe they'll drop it all in one go on iPlayer and then they'll show it each week on BBC. But I'd be saying to myself, well, why drop it on iPlayer all in one go and just do what you always do, weekly episodes?
Maybe a way of obfuscating the viewer ratings. Maybe I don't know. Maybe not. It is a strange thing. I think it's very counterintuitive. I just think it's it's a sad state of affairs, really, and I just don't I don't think it's a good optic. I really don't. I think it's an admission. I really see it as an admission of failure.
PD.
What were we on about? Sorry, I was just typing in the chat. What are we talking about? Sorry, just a quick. iPlayer drop. Yeah, sorry. I'm just trying to do two things at once.
Pay attention, damn it.
I know. Oh, I'm still in the room. I'm still fine. I'm still happy. Yes, they tried doing the same thing with The Expanse about a season or two ago, and it was a complete mess. Completely ruined the show. Everyone's moaning and said they could just binge the whole series and just go through it.
Hello, Wolfenstein.
But also, it is, as the problem being says, it's failure. It's just admitting failure completely. I mean, as Dr. McCoy says, sorry, I'm going to quote New Trek, and I hate quoting New Trek. If you're going to ride in the Kentucky Derby, don't leave your prize stallion in the stables.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid Doctor Who was a flagship show, along with Strictly Come Dancing, Top Gear, which they ruined, and EastEnders, which is which we all saw happened to at Christmas.
Yeah.
Dying a death.
Exactly.
Yeah. It just goes to show a complete failure of the BBC to understand the audience of this country anymore. And I think that if they were less busy lecturing at us and being sanctimonious pricks,
trying to be Hollywood,
then perhaps being more attuned to the current zeitgeist, which is counter, obviously, to their own narrative. Maybe some hiring practices need to change.
Yeah, agreed.
Charlotte?
Well, it wouldn't be out of the ordinary, because remember when I told you that a show that I was interested in was being dumped on iPlayer?
Mm-hmm.
Because I was following the actor. So they have done this with some series. They have all at once put all the episodes on iPlayer as well as broadcast. They've done like a weird thing of broadcasting it but dumping it on iPlayer, which meant I watched the series. I didn't watch it broadcast weekly. I just binged it on iPlayer. So it's not out the ordinary for them to do it. It would raise eyebrows for a big show like Who to have that, because here's the thing, and Gary and a load of people in the Fandom Menace have talked about this binge setup. It means your hype cycle is drastically reduced. You don't have weekly reviews going out. You don't have weekly discussions going out. People talk about it for a couple of weeks and then it goes out the consciousness.
Well, at least it'll be good for us because, I mean, having to deal with all these crazy toxic people on Twitter, raging, for a month and a half or whatever. At least it'll be over quicker.
But I do think that would also, if they tried this with a new Doctor, it would harm a new Doctor. Like, yes. I can see them doing it for Series 13, like somebody said in the Super Chat, just to sort of quietly get this era out the way.
Yeah.
Sort of dump it in one go, because it's a reduced episode count anyway. And I'm sorry, with the amount of stuff he's trying to slot in now, I think this is going to be the most disconnected series we've ever had.
And it's going to be full of filler until the last episode.
That's the thing. He can't do that, but he's set.
But he will.
He's set himself up with so much.
Yeah.
That maybe that's why the companions aren't full time. Maybe that's what he's had to do to get all the other stuff in.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why Monique's half.
Well, I think the whole.
Go ahead, Marty.
I think the whole companions not being full time thing might actually make sense because, as you are probably aware at the minute, John Barman's been in Cardiff for the past 4 or 5 weeks. So, he's doing Dance on the Ice. So we know that he's been doing that on the weekend. So what's to say he's not in filming? I think he is going to be in Series 13 because he's here now for the next. He's been here now. I think he's here for like 8 or 9 weeks. So there's no way he's staying in Cardiff. He's only doing Dance on the Night. So on Sunday night. What's he doing the rest of the week? He has to be in filming Doctor Who. So I think maybe if Mad Gill does go, maybe they're going to bring him on for a couple of episodes. I can see that happening.
Yeah, but here's the thing as well. So Monique's going to be like wrapped up a whole story. So what's the point in keeping her for another series?
Yeah.
What was the point of keeping her?
She should have gone then in Revolution.
Yeah, I know. She should have gone after Series 11.
She props the setup.
She is a prop, isn't she?
At least we can all hold a little visual because Tasman's not happening, folks. If this is happening, so you can all get your little prayers ready and all your little things to go. Oh,
she's. I'm sorry to say it. No harm to the woman, but her acting ability, Mad Gill. She's in the TARDIS with the rest of them. She's like another pillar.
Exactly.
In the console room. She's not there at all for me.
Well, it's going to be different, isn't it? Like, instead of having all 3 of them lined up in a row, like going yes doctor, no doctor, 3 bags full doctor. I mean, it's ludicrous. I mean, even the direction of these episodes has been appalling, and the way that they just sort of line them up like that, just like nodding dogs with their mouths gaping open and going, affirm the doctor, affirm the doctor, affirm the doctor, affirm Yaz, affirm Ryan. It's just awful. That it has to reduce characters to such cardboard cutouts, really, and that's not what the companion is supposed to be there for, And I find that when you got 3 of them acting as one, it's a really kind of like a schizophrenic experience, really.
Daniel is off to get ready for his stream.
Have a good one, Daniel.
Don't forget to actually tune in when he does the
we're
stream.
gonna have plenty to talk about.
Yeah. Go ahead, Marty. Sorry.
No, I just think that if Bishop is the full time companion, I can see them throwing in Barman into the mix there because really want to hear Mad Gill. I know Barman. A lot of people have mixed feelings with Barman, but I think he's like the only thing that could probably maybe not necessarily save an episode, but make it sort of half bearable if he's in it.
He's got charisma. None of them have it. So he has
but it reeks of desperation at this point. It doesn't feel. It feels very contrived. It doesn't feel like he's there for a purpose or a reason. It just feels so contrived. And I have a massive problem with this era because all of it has been incredibly contrived situations and stories, and it none of the characters seem to offer any way out. It's just like the Doctor gives you a bunch of exposition, works everything out for the audience and for herself and for everyone in the scene, waves the magic wand like it's a fucking gun, and then everything magically resolves, and any incidental characters get kind of ushered out the door off screen, and it's all sorted out and done. And I look, no interest, right? None. The whole writing team is pathetic. It's dreadful. The direction has been absolutely stilted. And you've got all this money chucked in for all the CGI. It does not make for good TV, right? Blake Seven, back in the 70s, had next to no budget, less than Doctor Who, and still was a compelling story, right? That doesn't cover up the cracks. And bringing in a new companion,
it's this Chibnall's, whatever Chibnall's fantasy is with bringing in new writers. I can't understand what grudge he has against bringing in some of the RTD and Moffat writers.
Yeah.
Someone who knows what they're doing.
I don't understand
The envy.
I want people better than
Exactly.
you.
I'll tell you why, because it will show him up. Because he had the weakest episodes out of all of those RTD and Moffat era stories.
Yeah.
He had the weakest episodes. And so if he hired any of those writers from the previous periods of Doctor Who history, would make him look weak, make him look inept, and that's why he hired beneath him. And this is where you get the ever steeper declining slope.
Yeah.
Spot on.
Yeah. You just get bad the worst. You get Chibnall's bad, but the rest of them are worse.
Yeah.
Right, well, we might as well get to the next bit, which is also interesting. It's Sacha Dhawan and the Joe Martin stuff. So we'll start with Charlotte. Charlotte, Sacha Dhawan apparently is returning. Apparently, they also asked Michelle Gomez, but because of travel restrictions, it doesn't seem to be happening. And what was the other bit I said? I've lost all.
Oh, Joe Martin.
Oh, and Joe Martin apparently not returned. Now, that's the second time that we've been given that news, because she found out apparently that she wasn't going to be the 14th Doctor. So apparently she's declined to be in Series 13. What have you got to say about that?
I'm not surprised. Sorry, I get my words out. With Sacha, because he was a hit with fans. He's actually got something about him. Even though I wouldn't want his master to come back writing wise, because he's already starting to become like the Tasmanian devil, just like this crazy guy that talks all the time.
Like the Doctor. You know?
Yeah. So I think if he comes back, I've got a feeling that's going to go up by about 100. And if you think John Sim got bad by the end of his run, I think Sacha's going to be written worse than Sim.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I liked him in he was like a different character from the bits I have seen, because I really liked him in Spyfall, his master. I was like, oh, he's calculating. He's like quietly evil. He's a bit Delgado-esque. And I want that, even though I could do with the master being rested. At least if you're going to do the master, can we not have crazy again? Because we've had crazy now. So I'm not surprised. I hope, like I said, if he does come back, he's a bit less Tasmanian devil, as I refer to him as. The Joe Martin stuff, if she was under the impression she was going to get it next, and she's gone, no, I'm not playing with you anymore. Like, I'm not playing the game anymore because you promised me something or you made me think something, then good on you, girl. I think good on her. It's probably better for you if you don't turn up again, because all you are is a token love, and you're a fan and you love this show, and I'd hate for that to carry on with you, because I do think she's a lovely person from what I have seen social media wise of her. Missy, yeah, because he's dragging everything else back he possibly can underneath the sun, so of course he would try with Missy, plus female, so that would be probably why he'd want her back.
You could.
I'm trying to think. But yeah, pretty much that. I'm not surprised with Sacha.
Why would they bring Michelle Gomez back? Because it would show you how to do a female Time Lord properly, you know.
No, they'd brings her back so she can complement Jodie's doctor.
Yeah, but she would chew the scenery, and Jodie would just look completely redundant. You know, it's like I always go back to when Missy stepped out the TARDIS in More Than Enough at Time and said, "Hello, I'm Doctor Who," and I believed it. You know, I thought, yes, I could see it. I mean, if they were going to go down that road, that would have been how you would do it.
But she would have just been used as, so you did listen to my advice, or you did, like, it would just be a reinforcement of female doctor to bring her back.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I'd love to see Missy return. Although, having said that, the way that her arc kind of ended was great. And it was just a shame, I think, that they kind of completely threw that arc out the window with Sacha Dhawan's Master. I didn't like Spyfall. I thought his performance was too over the top when he said, you know, that he was the Master, and I thought it was just so ludicrously over the top and very, very hammy. I think he would have been better cast as the Doctor than as the Master, quite honestly. I think he would have been better, and probably that eccentricity would have worked better. But I'm kind of a bit tired now of seeing the Master as this kind of really over the top crazy character. You know, if you look at Delgado, his Master was so suave, so sophisticated, very intelligent without this kind of mania, and very menacing, you know. And I don't find the Master menacing. I think the Master needs to be retired for a bit. I think we've had too much of the Master lately. The Master is my absolute favourite character from Doctor Who. Delgado and Ainley for me were my Masters, and I love Michelle Gomez as Missy. You know, a lot of people don't. I completely understand why, but I really enjoyed that very sort of. I mean, the Master turning into Missy made sense to me. You know, the Master of Disguise. What better disguise than that? You know, and also being, you know, using that in such a clever way. And I think it worked personally. As for Jo Martin, well, if she was kind of hinted at being the next Doctor, and that she was led down this road, and if the BBC have backtracked on that, I can't blame her. I'd be furious, and I think she would have every right to be angry.
Yeah.
I mean, I still think that shoehorning in that Doctor was done for intersectional feminist reasons rather than narrative story. The whole Timeless Child arc was set up purely to make, you know, the United Colours of the Doctor. And I think that's exploitative, blaxploitation, I suppose. It's fetishizing race and gender for a character that has been beloved for over 50 odd years for being who he is, you know, which is traditionally always been a male role. I think that there is nothing wrong with that. I think that if you find something wrong with that, then there's probably something wrong with you. I mean, it just seems to me such a shallow reason to do that. But again, you know, if the BBC have misled her in any way, I think that's a bad form, and I think it really does go to prove, really, if that is in case, the fact that they are racist. You know, that they do things on a very superficial level, and then they don't stick to it when it becomes too inconvenient. You know, it's all lip service at the end of the day, and I find that extraordinary that the BBC think that they're being virtuous by paying lip service but not following through. And this is why I think the whole thing is a divisive thing. You should really not go down that road unless you actually commit to it and you actually believe in that. And, you know, and I think that anyone who's that kind of obsessed with race and gender and things like this is kind of really not looking at the bigger picture, which is, you know, narrative, stories, and characters, and continuity. You know, we've seen their attitude towards canon and things like that, so flippant to the point of wanted to kick it to the curb and watch it die. To paraphrase Chris Cornell, whatever his name is, and I just find it a bit concerning that the BBC. I kind of having this schizophrenic moment again. I refer back to this kind of schizophrenic thing because I think it is. I think the BBC's like having a serious identity crisis, and this is, I think, you know, one of the, you know, the problems with identity politics is that you kind of paint yourself into a corner, and then, you know, when it doesn't work for you because it becomes so overt and so cynical that people call it out, that it then starts suffering in itself. That, and I think that that's a shame, because I don't think if people cast with honesty and with integrity, that none of these problems would arise. You know, no one would bat an eyelid at a woman doctor if it was done properly, or a black actor or an Asian actor playing the doctor. People wouldn't bat an eyelid if it was done well, if it was done, you know, as if it was nothing, you know. And rather than glorifying it and putting it on a pedestal and fetishizing it and being the whole great I am, look at me, look at what I've done, you know, the great white knight who's the king of the black people or the king of the women, you know, it's just embarrassing. And I think it becomes so dated. And I think that, you know, we need to move beyond that now, and start being adult about these things, and start thinking about things that matter, like character and story, rather than casting based on immutable characteristics and things. I think it's incredibly dated already, you know. And I think that the whole woke agenda thing has been heavily criticized to the point that it's not financially viable. And we've seen it across all medium, all films, all of these TV shows, everything, where whenever they apply that tactic to a show or a film, people sniff it out as being very insincere. And it is insincere. No one was actually focused or thinking about these things, you know, until, I mean, look, I think it's important that we do engage with thinking about these things to a certain degree, but the way that they've implemented it and turned it into something that is more important than absolutely everything, including story and character, that you've kind of lost the point, you've lost the audience. And unfortunately, people don't like insincerity, and they don't like being force-fed things in a very overt manner. It's, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, it's like you stop thinking about everything else that, you know, is important, because, you know, you're taking things from the real world and trying to cram it into some science fiction story, and it becomes the central theme of everything, and it becomes a bit trotted out, a bit tiring. You know, it's just like, yeah, we've heard this. We know racism is bad. We know sexism is bad. We don't need to be told every episode in the story because, you know, you're in charge. It's just, can we move forward now? We got it. Okay. So anyway, that's my thoughts on that.
Fantastic. I thought you were going to stop there for a minute, but
well, you know, it's your channel. You just say, Lee, shut the fuck up.
No, we like listening to you, but, like, you know, breathe, mate, breathe.
I've been on in a while.
Right, does anybody else like to add on to what Lee just said there? And I will make the point, though, I do agree with the fact that, you know, even though I am not entirely 100% behind a female doctor, if it was done properly, I'd accept it to a certain extent, yes, because if the story writing, the character development was good, and that's all we've ever wanted. And it doesn't matter what the skin color of the doctor is either, or what gender. Once it's done properly, but BBC, you know, so, you know, go back to what works.
You also have to bear in mind that if you're a time traveling space alien, and, you know, you're going, I mean, okay, we've seen that there's a perception filter and things like that. I mean, the whole story will always forever revolve around the chosen race of the Doctor. I mean, bearing in mind that's supposed to be from an alien planet called Gallifrey, you know, it's but you don't want to fall into that trap where every single story is about the same sort of thing.
Well, yeah, but you wouldn't do it like that.
Yeah, but because it's 2021, that's what it will always be surrounding, like the treatment of them as the character, if they're perceived to be, of a race set, let's say, in, 1960s America, for example, as we've seen already. I mean, it just possibly falls into that trap where it becomes the central theme of every episode. And that's unfortunate, but history is unfortunately quite a nasty place for a lot of people. But I think you might fall into the trap where that becomes a central theme surrounding every sort of time travel episode, and that would be awkward and uncomfortable for a lot of people, whatever color. I think because it just, you're not really telling anything new at that point.
Yeah, but I think if let's say the next Doctor, which I think is a good bet right now, let's say it's a male non-white, which is what I'm honestly thinking we're probably going to get. I could be wrong, but I think there's, like I said, the fact that even male is being mentioned again, I think is significant. The fact that it's not being shut out, that it's not like, oh, we're never going to do that again. The fact that some people are saying, no, we want this, I think there's a chance. But all that would mean is that if you had an episode that, for example, went back in time to a country or a place where that should be brought up because the Doctor would be in danger. The Doctor couldn't just swan around and walk around like they tend to. But I think if you had a good writer doing that, that could be an incredibly compelling episode.
Yeah, but it won't be just one episode. It will be a common thing that will have to be addressed virtually every time.
Well, no, it wouldn't be, because you'd have some episodes current day, you'd have some episodes in the future. It might, let's say that the Doctor goes to Africa or one of these other countries where it's non-white majority, then they wouldn't have that danger. So it would make you possibly have to explore and be very inventive. Let's say you had a Doctor then of that type and white companions, then maybe the companions would be the ones who would be in danger and the Doctor wouldn't. If you happen to go to one of these places in the world, which white is not the majority.
But you're still playing into the identity politics. You're still playing into.
No. You're not playing to identity politics. If it just literally means you've got an extra sense of danger to the characters. It wouldn't have to be in your face speeches.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
I know what
it
you're
wouldn't be massive, oh look, this is a bad thing speech. It would just mean, just because of logic and because of those time periods, there's an added extra.
Well, look what they did with Sacha Dhawan with the Yahtzees, okay, and he had that perception filter, and then she removed that perception filter and exposed the color of his skin to a bunch of very violent Yahtzee thugs.
I just go across you there for a minute because Marty had to go suddenly. He says there's a bit of an emergency.
All right.
You're all right.
All right, Marty. Listen, thanks for coming on as usual and being here. I'm sorry you haven't had much to say in the last half hour or so, but listen, I hope everything is okay, and fill us in. Let us know if everything is all right, man. When you obviously.
But my point is, it could actually bring some very interesting stories if done right. Is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I mean that requires Chibnall and Co to leave, because I mean the way that they dealt with Sacha Dhawan in that story, I thought was incredibly tasteless and very again a misunderstanding. This is what happens when you got a bunch of white knighting going on for people of different races. When you write them in that way, that you use their own race against them. And it was so on the nose, and I found that really uncomfortable. I thought that if that is a sign of things to come, that you can do that to one of the characters like that and make it as if it was a good thing, is very counter to the whole sort of woke thing which they're trying to do. It just goes to show how they completely misread that situation. I think that they wrote that in that way, I thought was, well, as I said, tasteless. I thought it was very, very badly handled. And I think that did get a lot of criticism, and rightly so. And I think you're going to fall into that trap a lot if you have the same sort of writing, dare I say, talent, writing stuff where they can do that to a character in, you know, with modern day sensibilities. I think you run the risk if you're playing into that narrative of politics of identity politics, you're going to upset that crowd very, very quickly, very early on. That's why you should always just bloody avoid it, you know. And, you know, listen, I've said, you know, I can see Dewan better playing the Doctor than the Master. But, you know, you have to also think how history treats people of different races. And it's not good. And I think that, particularly with the current writing that we're seeing, that it will fall into that trap again and again and again. And I think that you have to be extraordinarily gifted as a writer to handle that with aplomb and do it properly. And I just fear that the BBC doesn't. And I just feel that they're just going to, especially if it's a bunch of white writers writing in people of different races in this way, that it's going to become like cringe quite easy, very quickly. And I don't trust them to do it right. And I think that Sacha Dhawan scene with the Master and the Artsies was, for me, an indicator of that fact. And the fact that the Doctor is a woman, even though it was never properly addressed. But when they got the chance to address it, they did it in a really overt, heavy-handed, on-the-nosy kind of way. And it's just kind of like, ugh. Yeah. The great thing about Moffat with Missy was that didn't happen. But they made it in the way, I mean, we didn't really see her go back in time, which might have been interesting. But like, with Missy, it was the character was just so compelling that you kind of, I mean, it's a different style of writing. It's a different standard of writing. Yes, we can see the influence of the BBC saying what he, you know, should put in and what he shouldn't, whatever. And again, Missy was actually the first one to say she's had an upgrade. And I didn't realize this, but I looked back and yeah, she actually said that first. So that line was again borrowed by Chibnall, you know, another one that he nicked. So yeah, I just think that if you fall into a likelihood of troping very, very quickly and very early on, especially if you've got a bunch of people who are obsessed with race and gender rather than compelling story writing and character development. And I think that you know, the current mentality of the BBC, with that kind of casting in that kind of cynical mold, you're going to fall into these writing traps that become tropes very quickly and become very cynically employed, and people sniff that out because it's insincere. And I would love to see maybe someone like Sacha Dhawan as the Doctor, but you have to have really great writing, and a great way of getting around this without this becoming a central theme, you know, that we have to, you know, focus on the Doctor's race, because we never had to before. Okay, yeah, he was a white guy all the time before, but, you know, I mean, like you said, you know, if he ended up in an African country or something in his TARDIS and faced, you know, a tribe in Africa, and, you know, his race would have been noticeable and different then. But it was never really dealt with, which, you know, bless their hearts, back in the 70s, it wasn't really considered. But again, you know, you've got to be careful that you don't put yourself into a trap of identity politics again, because you'll never satisfy or please anybody. You know, you'll just make it such a focal point that everyone's going to be constantly looking at. And I think that's deeply sad, quite honestly.
Right, you know, you finished?
Yes.
Right. Charlotte needed to go about 5 minutes ago, man, to get her sleep. My God, man. They'll tell you you're just as bad as me, man. World records being broken everywhere. Right, Charlotte, anyway, before you do go, is there anything you would like to add about the before you leave?
Pretty much not. said what I need to because we covered the main point. So
yeah, I think Lee has covered everything for us as well.
We'll
But
do this
listen,
for a week.
obviously, yourself and Daniel are going to be on tonight, so let everybody know what you have coming up, and we'll get your channel in the chat there as well.
Yep, so Daniel Leach is the channel name, and me and Daniel are doing our Excellent Conversation stream tonight at 7, which is a variety. We chat about whatever we sort of want. If the chat talks about something, we tend to react a bit to that. So if you guys want anything in the chat that you want views on, just pop it, say it in the chat, and we'll read it out. And it's just a bit of fun and a bit of relax and a bit of free for all, basically.
Fantastic. Listen, the channel is in the chat there. Listen, thanks for coming on. I really do appreciate it. And I'll be back tomorrow, obviously, for the TARDIS Zone talks. Yeah, it's Wednesday tomorrow, isn't it? I've lost all. Well, we'll have the TARDIS Zone talks back on Wednesday, so I'll probably see you tomorrow as well. So, listen, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Bye-bye, everybody.
See you,
Charlotte.
Right, PD, you did mention that you didn't get a chance to talk about Sacha Dhawan's return. Go ahead, man.
Well, this is going to be very hard to return someone who got atomized, but I'll let him have a chance and get it done. But I also reckon I try to get Michelle Gomez back so they can have Sacha regenerate into Michelle Gomez and say, "Oh, this was a doctor before, after John Sim, before Michelle Gomez."
Before, yeah, which some people had already speculated over the years.
But didn't he say that he definitely came after Michelle Gomez?
I don't know.
I think Sacha Dhawan actually said no. This came afterwards, and that he, the reason why he's back to his old ways is that he felt betrayed or something. I can't remember. But he did in an interview. Did say something.
I don't know how she survived. I don't know, man. It was never shown anyway.
No, because he said it was a mortal. That she can't regenerate from that, and
Yeah, and until he regenerates, it's crazy, absolutely.
But I like to think she's the last iteration.
Really. Yeah, so do I. But as I said, you have to have the Matrix if you want to bring Sacha back. So I think your rumors are all right about the Matrix because you've got to have something like that because or else Sacha's just been atomized. Completely atomized. It's like, what are you going to do? Put him back together in a, how the hell are you going to get Sacha back from the Timeless Children?
Yeah.
Well, the Master always survives somehow.
I know,
This is the trope.
Chuckle, yeah, always survives. But
we've got obviously the two videos that we have, the two streams that we have done, obviously are in relation to information that we found on Gallifrey Base, and then of course, obviously,
it's all rumors.
Given this information, and I went back to my sources, and then we obviously gave you the information from my sources. But I just want to make it very clear to people out there that are saying, no, this isn't true, this, that, and the other. Am I telling people that this is true? No. So again, you need to get away from this whole thing that you're
reporting on rumor and speculation.
I'm talking facts here. I'm not talking facts here. It's rumor and speculation. If you don't understand that, as I said, more fool you.
All fandoms are based on discussing hearsay, rumor, and speculation. This came from Gallifrey Base. We're told, take it up with them. I mean, what's the problem in reporting something that has been mentioned somewhere else? I mean, that's all
I've come back
does all the time.
My information from my sources, which totally contradicts the Gallifrey Base rumor. So I covered both. So I mean, look again. Even on Facebook yesterday, I was actually thrown out of a group because people start moaning, why are you allowing videos like this? And I just wrote in the chat, if you don't like the video, just pass it by. I says, you do know that the fandom has always discussed rumor and speculation.
Yeah, always. That's what fandom's about.
It's the 60s.
But apparently it's not allowed anymore. And if it doesn't come from certain people out there, then of course it's not true. Which is absolutely ridiculous. What happened to everybody having an open mind? Taking all the rumors on board
It's supposed to be fun,
exactly.
right? Remember that fun?
It's entertainment.
You don't know what fun is if it's
relax for fuck's sake, you know. Just chill.
Well, listen, that's it really. I mean, there's nothing else really to talk about. I think we've covered it all.
Yes, I have.
And Lee has definitely covered it all. Yeah. But that's why we love you. Yeah, that's it. So, man, listen, do me a favor, like, share. If you haven't subscribed, where have you been all this time? You know, because this is one of the channels, Talk the Doctor as well, and I'll give Gary's channel also from Neurotics a shout out. If you wanted your Doctor Who news, rumors, the latest rumors, speculation, they're the channels, me own, Gary's channel from Neurotic, and Talk the Doctor. You know, to me, count me out of it. But to me, the other two, you know, I'd listen to them before I listen to anybody else out there. So, you know, I trust Gary and Eddie, you know. So check out Eddie's channel, will you? Because, as I said, you know, he has supported their channel quite a lot and defended me like Lee on Twitter when I've been unfairly abused, just like the rest of the people out there. But when it comes to Doctor Who news, Gary, myself, and Talk the Doctor, and I have no shame in saying it anymore, these are the places to be for your latest news.
Yeah.
And, you know, if people want to sing from the rooftops and say that I'm wrong, fine, you're entitled to do that. The fact that you have to try cause drama again just goes to show what it's all about. But this time, just to let you know, won't be biting. You can do whatever you want. I don't care. Right, we're back tomorrow though for the TARDIS Zone talks. That's always interesting. I'm pretty sure the stuff that we've talked about the last 2 days. Obviously, there is an article by Russell T. Davis as well about the BBC. If you want to check that article out, there's a different couple of articles. When I seen it from The Guardian, I thought it was a bit of a clickbaity article, but I went in and I had a read. The way the newspaper headlines are wording it, though, it's not what he said.
Sensationalism.
But still, he did have a stark warning for BBC if they don't change it up. But that'd be years away. So the way people are talking, BBC coming to an end soon, that's not happening again either. So we need to kind of, we need a dose of reality. So TARDIS on talks Wednesday. Then on Thursday, then we are on The Irish Geek for Shaun of the Dead. That's the movie, Shaun of the Dead.
Cool.
Lee did make a suggestion, and Lee, it was a great suggestion, but these are movies I like. You know, that movie is a good movie, but it's not one that I like that often, you know.
No, but, just an idea.
But if you have another suggestion, because you never know, you might pick a movie that I actually do like, man. You're more than welcome to make more.
Well, I watched. Well, I mean, I'm not suggesting this one for you, but it's on YouTube, and I watched The Naked Civil Servant, which is fantastic. The story of Quentin Crisp, which I hadn't seen actually. I've always meant to watch it, and I've been sort of falling in love with Quentin Crisp all over again.
Right.
And it's a fascinating film, and it's got Jan Chappell making a short little appearance in there. She was Carly from Blake 7. So I was like, oh, that's Jan Chappell, and obviously it's a great story. You know, it's based on a biography of the great Quentin Crisp, and it's can't sing its praises enough.
And then on Friday, we're back on the TARDIS Zone,
and that's John Hurt as Quentin Crisp.
So, but the TARDIS Zone talks. Then we have Classic Who over the weekend. Actually, is the Visitation? I forget. Is it a 4-parter or is it?
I think it's 4. Wasn't it?
Right. Well, if it's a 4-parter, you need to pick. Who's next? Who has the next Doctor?
I don't recall.
Right,
I thought I had
whoever
sort
has
of
the next Doctor will have to actually pick, because if it's only a 4-parter, we're going to do 2 classic episodes over the weekend. So it's only when it's a long story that we divide it up. But if it's only a 4-parter, we're going to do 2 4-parters over the weekend. New Who comes back next week. I just have to. I might have to add an extra day. I'll have to talk to the wife about that one, but I might have to, because there's not. It's I want to keep the 2 channels going, you know. So I want to do a lot of stuff on the Irish Geek as well. And if you haven't watched Gift of the Gab, myself and Cheryl were yapping away there last night. Go and check it out, please, because you know, Cheryl was there. Right? Yeah, I know. I was about to get to that.
Yeah, it's very philosophical.
Tell them what it's about. Tell them what it's about. Yeah.
Oh, Ash Singh from the chat says, "No, when are you doing Howard the Duck?" You love that film, right?
Yeah. Myself and Ball. So I'm just waiting on Ballstrick until he gets a free weekend.
He's got to prepare himself mentally and physically for it.
Obviously, on that day, if it happens to be on a day that we do classic, well, a classic will be cancelled for that weekend, because trust me, you will want to see, you will want to hear Ballstrick's reaction to Ghostbusters 2016. I don't think he realizes what he's getting himself in for. Quite honest with you,
I can't wait. It's going to be
and he's a fan of the original, so I mean, this is going to be like we all are. But this is, yeah. I even watched the trailer again last night. Because obviously I'll put a trailer, so I wanted to watch it, and even watching the thing was making me sick. Right, and
I watched it with my mum, and she was laughing, which made me laugh. And it was like, wow, because I remember watching the first time and didn't laugh once. So that was really bizarre.
Howard the Duck came next, and yeah, I'm not looking forward to that, as you know. So, but that was the deal. Yeah, Ballstrick said he'd do Ghostbusters 2016. He likes Howard the Duck, so I agreed that if he did Ghostbusters 2016, I would do Howard the Duck as well. So yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do. I don't like this movie whatsoever. So this is, yeah, I was even watching the trailer. It's stupid. Sorry, Ballstrick, but pluck the duck. It's stupid. Absolutely ridiculous premise, man. And yeah, it's a bit weird. Yeah, bit weird. But yeah, you know, people do have weird tastes, I suppose. I say there's movies out there that I like that people think are weird, so I suppose, you know, can't really say anything. Ghostbusters 2016, I think, is on Netflix UK.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it is, because that's why I said that. Yeah, because
that's, you know, Netflix gets all the movies that bombed, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure if I can't get Howard the Duck there, I'll get it somehow anyway. But I'll get Howard the Duck. So yeah, it's going to be, as I said, very interesting weekend when it happens. I'll let you know. I'll actually text him tonight and see if he could do that this weekend. If it's not this weekend, it could be next weekend. Maybe next weekend be better if we're going to be doing Classic Who, but we'll see what happens. But it will be interesting, trust me. Plenty of laughs to be had, and to hear 2 grown men freak out. I mean, what's there not to love? I mean, you know, some people say, man, giving out. Yeah, but this is what's fun about, especially when it's movies. You know, that's the fun part. You know, there are movies out there that'll always annoy you. You know, and yeah, we've just picked the 2 worst ones. Well, yeah, I don't know why I've agreed to this. I've actually put myself through double torture, by the way. I just want you to know that.
Yeah, because, you know, that's one of them is one of his favorite films. Yeah, but neither is one of yours.
Well, I don't like any of these movies. That's what I mean. So it's even going to be worse for me, because at least he likes one. You know, I bleed and hate the 2 of them. Right, apparently Rabbi is streaming, so I will say to you guys to go over and head over to his channel, because as far as I know, he is going to be covering what we covered yesterday. I don't know if he's going to cover what we just did today, I'm pretty sure he will. So go over there and get yourselves over and support Rabbi. And yeah, that's us done. So I'll just get the lads to give their shout outs, and we'll leave it at that, and we'll head off and enjoy his own week. Go ahead, Lee. Do you want to do your shout?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Being Problem, and you can check out my sort of CGI shit on Audred Audiovisual, AUDRED. Audiovisual.
What a way to sell it. You can go and check out me shit.
That's what I call Doctor Who merchandise now. Crap.
Yeah.
Got a lot of crap there, Rabbi. I mean, merchandise.
PD, go ahead. I know you.
Well, you know I'm going to shout out, don't you? I'm going to be shouting him out for the next 29 days. I just want to say, if you could back in Rabbi's Indiegogo campaign, that'd be great. If you're not, you can't afford it, I understand, but he's got some good charities he's supporting, one of which is Peter Capaldi's charity. And you got a really good book. Really, really pervy comic book.
So done.
There you go. And as he said,
Boink.
Good charities. So fair play to Rabbi. He didn't see again. I even said this he didn't even say that on the live stream, which he should have. But apparently he was saying it in videos beforehand. But on the night of the live stream, he forgot to mention it. But that's absolutely fantastic, man. So support it, because going to worthy causes. Absolutely. And
he's up to 72 backers.
Fantastic.
Yeah, he's doing really well.
That is brilliant. Right, folks, we're going to say goodnight. We'll talk to you soon. Head over to Rabbi there now. Or remember, Daniel Den, I think, is on at 7. So go and support him as well if you can. He would really appreciate it. So please
support the legend.
That's it. Support the legend. Support everybody in our little community, because they all put a lot of effort into it, and they really love doing what they do. So please do. Okay, we're off now. See you later. Bye. Say good night, Lee.
See ya.
Good night, Lee.
Oh, he's off again. Say good night, PD Rich.
See you again.
There you go. And I'm going to say good night, Noel. Good night.
Good night, Noel.